100,000 points. That was the high score Tamiko Tanaka was going to beat today. Bionic Unicycle Racing 2, The Quest for Dinner, Porcupine Heist. She held the high score on every game in Slamdown Town Arena's decrepit arcade room. Except for one. Brawl Mania Supreme, the retro 8-bit wrestling brawler, was Tamiko's greatest gaming challenge. Being the only wrestling-focused game in an arcade set in a wrestling arena naturally made it popular, but the game was infamous for being extremely difficult. There were rumors that it was unbeatable, like the video game version of a claw machine. Tamiko had no problem wrestling her way to the game's final opponent, the dreaded and diabolical Buff Boss. After years of practice, she could even get there with 1 quarter. But the problem was actually beating the 8-bit menace. She strolled across the stained, mildewed carpet, past beeping machines, clacking air hockey pucks, and screaming kids. With each step, she prepared herself for today's victory. Nothing would get in her way. That is, except for the fresh-faced 4th grader who had the audacity to be playing her game when she arrived. "Get out of my way, newbie," she yelled. The boy's eyes went wide when he saw her. "Sorry," he squeaked and scurried off. He hadn't even finished playing, but everyone knew Brawl Mania Supreme belonged to TAM, the 3 letters that held every place in the top 10 list except for number 1. That belonged to DEV, the game's original developers. For years, she'd climbed the ranks, creeping closer and closer to the first-place position. She'd grown to despise those 3 letters and the sinister creators behind them, who knowingly made a game that would eat your quarters and ask for seconds, all while dangling victory in front of your face. As Tamiko planted her sneakers in front of the game, a familiar greeting flashed across the screen. "Are you ready for Brawl Mania Supreme?" "You bet your pixely butt I am," she muttered. The sounds of retro music and the murmurs of the other gamers in the room faded away. As was tradition, she pulled up her lucky sock, the only one she was wearing, and blew a strand of tangled hair out of her face. She took a quarter out of her oversized pocket and placed it in the machine. The coin landed with a satisfying clink in the bowels of the arcade cabinet. A list of playable characters filled the screen. Tamiko yanked the semi-functional joystick over to her preferred choice, the mysterious masked wrestler, Miscreant. She wore all black from head to toe and boasted a high-flying, high-energy moveset that allowed Tamiko to control the ring. Tamiko slapped the worn attack buttons, gritted her teeth, and readied herself for action.